This is the last part of our stitch book. So you have already maybe basted or sewed on your pocket, either on a page or on a cover. The cover I have in this example is the one I was working on in the most recent class, and it's actually a little bit longer than some of the ones we've actually made. So this one is actually 7 inches long. Um, in my instructions, I suggest that you cut a rectangle that is 6 inches long by 3 inches long because the size of our book fits that. So the book that most of you have been making is a 5.5 inch book. This one finishes to 5 inches, so the binding winds up being just a little over 5 inches too. Um, and you can see I've used some clips to hold it in place. I heard a few students suggest using binder clips to hold it in place. And then when you start stitching it, you can start anywhere underneath and do any kind of stitch to finish it. So here I have some cross stitches through denim. This is one piece of denim binding, and I want you to look at how I've whip stitched around the edges there. So that's going in the same side over and over again to close those seams on the edges. This overlap of about 1.5 inches on each side is to make sure you capture all the pages in case, and you can kind of see here, not all your pages are exactly the same size. So when you get your binding rectangle cut, you turn down the outside edges first. You can use an iron to press them, but you don't have to. You can also use pins to hold each corner in place, just like we did for the pocket while you're working. So once you've got your rectangle, you've got your ends folded in and your sides folded in, then you want to stick your book inside the binding like this. Maybe turn it lengthwise so you can see the edge better. And then fold it in half and make sure that the folded under edge closes on the other side like this. So this is where the binder clips would come in if you want to clip it here. You can also pin it with a pin. And then when you're ready to sew it, you're going to want to go inside with your needle. My needle is running away from me. Sorry, just a moment. You want to go inside, somewhere inside with your needle. You want to make sure you get through all the layers, which is why I know working with denim is nice for a binding. You can see I actually used the first page to bind this, and I folded it over to the back side. My stitches aren't very neat, but they go all the way through. So I recommend we do what is called a stab stitch, where you put the needle all the way through, pull it out the other side, and then put it all the way through in a line along where you believe the pages are underneath. So you want to stitch as close to the edge as possible so that you get all of those edges of your book when you bind. It does not matter where you start or where you end. In my classes, I started out with the whip stitch on the end. It's kind of nice to close this end off while you've still got a pin in here to hold it in place. And then you can stab stitch up, down to finish. Okay, good luck. I want to see your finished book, so please share with me on social media or email me and show me your work. I'd love to see your bound books. Have a good afternoon.